Hello again, everybody. This is emmavoid, back once more with another episode of my Necrobarista Let's Play. Let's go ahead and jump right back into it, since last time we just did one of the side stories, but now we're back to the main plot. Here we go. Day 2, 8:15, outside the terminal. Ugh. I don't have the energy for this. Maddie's been running on empty for several days now. Especially with everyone watching me. I hope he packed enough conductors. My order form was pretty vague. I shouldn't be worrying about the conductors when I'm not even sure I can pull the whole thing off without some sort of major screw-up happening. Supplier knew what I wanted the conductors for anyway, so he would have packed enough. A good supplier knows enough about their clients to anticipate their needs. There's a certain amount of nosiness that is polite, after all. And he knows that I've got Ashley helping me. Helping you with what? With what, Madeline? Oh no, I thought it was going to be Ashley. Helping you with what, Madeline? Piss off, Ned. Rude. And now he's following us. This is probably fine. You should respect your elders, you know. Ned is not a young man, even by the standards of semi-mortals. God, listen to you. The council made you soft, didn't it? Oh, respect your elders. Follow all our totally arbitrary rules or we'll make up some cheap reason to destroy your business. My name's Ned and I love rules. You done? Yep. Cool. You sound wounded. A steel chestplate can save you from a bleeding heart, but not a bruised ego. You should be nicer. Wow, sick comeback. What was it that guy you killed said? Oh Christ, I am shot. Oh no, woe is me. Just a little throwback humor for you. Did I strike a nerve? So yeah, the thing I'm getting, that I'm picking up from all of this, is that Ned is, or was, a famous outlaw who I would probably know more about if I knew more about Australia and Australia's history of outlaws. But, I don't know. Did I just what?
Maddie.
When Ned spoke next, it was in a deep, dark cadence, steeped in guilt and self-loathing. If Maddie had been able to see his eyes, she would have faced a withering glare.
We're rapidly reaching a point of no return. I can no longer promise to shield you from the consequences. I'd say I was lawful neutral, but
That's the coward's option.
yeah. But getting back to the plan.
It's a hell of a heist right there.
Oh,
Using your own pedantry to distract you was absolutely part of the plan.
wow. So little faith in me.
Gotta minimize liabilities here. Hannah's still learning to trust this guy. He doesn't have the look of an interloper, but you can never be too safe. You're out here playing checkers while I'm playing 6-dimensional upside-down laser chess.
Shit.
I've galaxy brained this, and now I'm holding the fruits of my labor.
Don't you mean our labor?
If you insist.
Give me a closer look at that. What sort of fruit did we pluck from the boost tree?
Really stretching that metaphor out, huh?
Yeah. I don't recognize the language on this label.
What? Let me look. What the hell? I don't recognize it either.
Maybe it's a cipher.
A cider is made from fermented apple juice. A cipher is made from fermented word juice. Ba-dum-bum. Who'd make you read a cipher just to know what you're drinking?
A sadist. Oh, we could ask Maddie what it is. She's a sadist, right?
What do you call someone who enjoys the empathic pain they feel from hurting others? Huh. Interesting. Yeah, that idea sounds great.
Let's go find her then.
Apart from the fact that we specifically nicked it from her,
Oh, right.
you're meant to be the lawful one here, dude.
We agreed on neutral good.
Me not challenging your assertion does not make it an agreement.
Regardless.
Wait, hold on. I sense a dark presence. Do you feel it?
No, I don't feel anything particularly spooky in the air.
Yeah, me neither. Neutral evil. That bottle's gotta come down. Oh! Hello, children. I see you've stooped to petty thievery. Some of the bottles on that shelf are old enough that swiping them would be an act of grand theft. Not this one, however.
Alas, sprung.
Can't believe my heist career is over so quickly. Aw, don't give up on your dreams, kids. Speaking of, you know what happens when you drink this?
I was assuming some sort of drunkenness.
Does it make your teeth fall out? Well, last time I had a shot of this, I woke up in Adelaide.
Wow. So the result was 700 kilometers worth of drunkenness and bad decisions.
But I woke up 6 hours before I took the shot. Had to drive a rented car back and explain to Che why I disappeared without a trace and somehow accidentally time traveled. Holy shit, can we give it a try? God, no. You ever heard of liquor licensing laws? I doubt I'm in jail.
I think it'd be an excellent formative experience.
Yeah, if you're not perpetuating teen drinking culture, you're a loser. Somehow, I remain unconvinced by your passionate arguments. Well, we tried. You kids have way too much time on your hands, you know that?
Better than not having enough, right?
I'm utilizing my time to practice my skills. It's not wasted. Well, the non-existent industry sector that relies solely on the skill of reaching over bars and stealing bottles of enchanted booze is gonna be lucky to have you. Aw, that's so validating, thanks. Can I get you to a coffee or anything? Hot chocolate? I'm kinda busy tonight, but I'm hoping that bribing you with free drinks will stop you from nicking my shit.
I'll take a free drink.
I feel guilty taking one since it was all Tuan's idea.
Hey!
But I'll graciously accept your offer. Neat. What'll it be? Hot chocolates for both of us? Cute. Hot chocolates for both of us. Alrighty, 2 hot chocolates coming up. Seriously, don't steal anything else while my back's turned or I'll feed you to a spite elemental. I wonder...
Spite elemental?
maybe it's a metaphor. Is she saying that she'll eat us? Is she the spite elemental?
Oh no.
Maybe the real spite elementals were the friends we made along the way.
I hate this.
Fair. I love these dorks. Oh, are you our lawful evil? She was one of them, I think. I don't know if she was the lawful evil or the lawful good, though. Samantha. Age 32. American, question mark? Visiting Melbourne for work. Devastatingly patient. Trust me, you kids don't want to meet a spite elemental. Have you? Yep. Got pretty close to not making it out alive.
Well, I guess you're in a fairly exciting line of work then.
This woman's line of work might seem intriguing to someone looking in from the outside, but to her it's all business. It gets that way sometimes. But spite elementals aren't exciting. They're terrifying. They suck all the air out of a room and make the world ache. And they don't die easy. Huh.
That's kinda metal.
You sure do need brass balls to face one down, that's for sure.
And a steely gaze?
What?
Because steel is a metal, and I said it was metal, and then you mentioned brass balls, so... Hannah, please back me up.
Nope. You brought this on yourself, mate.
No.
No, she's totally right. What's going on here? Are you bullying my customers, Samantha? Of course not. Good, because that's my job. You two should go enjoy the evening. There's a nice breeze blowing. Ah, that's why. You remembered my name. That's sweet. Sweet isn't a word that people often use to describe Maddie. That's the kind of remark that says more about the person who's talking than the person they're talking about. Of course I did. You're interesting. Doesn't that describe everyone who walks through your doors, though? Absolutely not. Especially not in the way that you are. Some people would take offense at that. Your boss, must be very different to mine. Well, my old boss, I guess. I'm my own boss now, actually. Maddie thinks she can make it all on her own. She just might turn out to be right. Apologies. Your approach to hospitality work is very different from what I'm used to, is what I'm trying to say. Figures. Where'd you work? Oh, just some dive bar overseas. Wretched hive of scum and villainy. The owner would never shut up about treating every client like royalty. Sounds like a pain in the ass if you ask me. I'm not asking, actually, but I appreciate the sentiment nonetheless. So, can I get you anything? Surprise me. You'd like me to pick you something? Yeah. Mind if I ask you a couple questions?
Are they related to the drink?
Yep.
Shoot.
Okay. What's your favorite white wine?
You're not making me a wine cocktail, are you?
No.
I'm partial to a glass of Marsanne every now and then.
Fancy. Next question. Have you ever read a star chart?
Like in astrology?
No. Why?
Well, I don't put any stock in mysticism.
Interesting.
Hey, this place isn't mystical.
To some people, this place seems otherworldly. For others, it's just the world they live in.
It's built out of cold hard facts. I just don't know them all yet.
Alright, fair enough. Last question. You're walking in the shallows of an ocean that seems to go into the distance forever. You can't see any land aside from the sand under your feet. Whenever you step forward, the sand sinks just a little bit. As far as you can see, there's no way to escape. Drowning is the only possible outcome. What do you do?
Wow, I feel like you're about to pull out a void comp machine or something. It's obviously some sort of test. I run, I swim, I dive when I can, and if I eventually drown, so be it. There's nowhere else to go, and no point to sitting and waiting for starvation or sharks or someone to save me. I have to take action.
Interesting.
So, what's the verdict?
Samantha didn't get a response. Maddie's eyes had glazed over as soon as she'd answered the last question, and now she stood perfectly still, gazing intently at the rows and rows of dusty bottles lining dustier shelves. Her lips moved, but no words came out. As Samantha watched, a flask of red liquid twitched, seemingly of its own accord. Maddie craned her neck up at it and scowled. In response, a smaller bottle, next to the first, and surely only big enough to hold a few drops of something, began to glow. Her scowl shifted to a wry smile. Oh, well that's fancy.
Please, you don't need to open anything new on my accounts.
Gotcha. Your answers were interesting. Coming from some people, that might sound like a non-committal remark, but coming out of Maddie, it might be the most effusive praise you ever get. So were your questions. I'm still having a little trouble figuring out how they relate to each other, though. Is that important?
I try to maintain a vague hope that maybe, one day, things might make sense.
And until then?
I just try to go with the flow, of course.
Sorry for trying to psychoanalyze you there.
Try? Do you think you failed?
No.
What's the verdict, then?
Well, for one, you tend to accept things as you see them. You don't try to interpret things based off of unrelated frameworks or thought patterns. That said, you do try and make sense of the connections between things when you can. Maddie's pretty sure she has all the pieces. She's found that putting all of the pieces together requires a bit more effort. But it's no big deal to you if you don't. You just mark it as an unknown variable and move on. And that reads to me as an intensely pragmatic approach. Would you agree?
I suppose.
You're the sort who doesn't buy drinks to enjoy them. You buy them as camouflage.
If you're experienced with pretending to be something you're not in order to blend in, you might develop a talent for recognizing when others are trying to do the same.
To hide your face behind. To project a veneer of being untouchable while you watch.
Watch what?
Everything, I suppose. You take everything in the same way I do.
So you're saying that I'm attentive, but that I don't worry about instantly understanding how things are interconnected?
Because you're confident that eventually you'll understand it anyway.
How do you figure that?
You've been watching my hands this whole time.
Is that weird? To watch an attractive bartender mixing a very fancy-looking cocktail?
Gay.
To appreciate a craft?
No. But given how interested you are in what my hands are doing, I'd wager that you've got some experience in my field. I mean, she did say that she worked at a dive bar.
Ooh.
Maybe that's not quite the field she means, though.
So, are you just really bad at picking up when you're being flirted with, or... It's fine, sweetie. In fact, it's pretty cute.
I meant an alchemy! The field of alchemy.
Uh-huh. I'm sure you're very accomplished in alchemy.
Just take the drink.
Shit, this is really good.
Yeah?
Too good to ignore, yeah. It's smoky but bittersweet, and contrast with the bitters that really makes you appreciate the sweetness. Or is it the other way around? Almost makes me feel like I'm reaching the end of something. Like I've got a lump in my throat from saying goodbye, but I can't quite tap into that feeling. Like, what did you even put in this?
Mezcal, artichoke bitters, gold heart bitters, and a slice of gorilla lime.
Huh, interesting. Gorilla lime? That can't be a real thing.
It's just hard to acquire. Called that because if you bite into one, it feels like you got punched by a gorilla.
Physically?
No, emotionally.
Ah, makes sense. I'm not a wizard. Prove it! Ah! That guy, the boss you mentioned?
Yeah.
He good to you?
I'm sorry?
Does he treat you well?
Yeah. To a fault, actually. Far past the point where it's rational for him to still be nice to me.
No one's ever accused old Che of being rational. That doesn't stop him from trying to be the voice of reason. Good.
Actually, I'm sorry, that reminds me, I have to dash. Got some setup work for a project to finish before the sun comes up.
Maddie rarely engages in careless shenanigans, so when she's up to something, you'd best be on your guard. Gasp. But without you here, who will enable my latent alcoholism?
You can just reach over the bar and grab the gin. Tonic's in the bar fridge.
Will do. Come back soon, though. I'd love to discuss alchemy with you some more.
Uh-huh. Catch you later. Wait, one last thing.
Oh, which one? Wait, one last thing. What was the meaning behind the question about what wine I like?
Oh. I was just curious.
She's so good.
That's the last one, I reckon. Does it have the magic caps in it?
Ah yes, our chaotic evil.
I think so. You can just call them caps, you know. They're built for something different. I refuse to use non-specific language. Uh-huh. Yeah, they're in here. Okay, what about the, thing? You'll have to be a little more... Oh, you know! The thing! The sparky thing.
Ashley likes having friends who can understand her even when she fails to be specific. Ah, that's a mood.
Electric. Sweetie, how long have you been awake? It is better for you if you don't know, I think. Do you mean the voltage regulator? That's the one! Good job! It's in one of the other boxes. I didn't think we needed another one, though. Are you kidding? The last one literally melted. It's a good thing I have an extremely sick metal arm, otherwise I would have been badly injured.
Ashley's prosthetic arm is a point of pride. She wouldn't trade it for anything, not even the arm that it replaced.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Is there anything missing?
I shall... Oh no, okay, she's checking. Need some espresso? I think I will literally die if I have any more. Hey, that's really mature of you. Nice job. Yeah, whatever. You can get me some chocolate if you want.
Don't tell Ashley that chocolate has trace amounts of caffeine. At least it's not more espresso.
Sure thing. Be back in a moment. Oh, hey dude, where you been?
Hey, just chilling. Not much to do when you're waiting to die.
Hey. Come on, Cooper, I know you're hiding down there somewhere.
Hold this, will ya? Interesting. Did Ned really say that? Yeah. Do you believe it? I'm not sure. Well, it's not a lie. The most dangerous lies are the lies we tell ourselves. But it's not the whole truth either. And I don't quite have the time to untangle it for you. Maddie's the sort of person to weave tangled webs without too much consideration for who's going to have to untangle them. I've got a hungry teenager downstairs and a summoning ritual to complete. She's part of this too. Don't you take that judgy tone with me. Eh? Far be it from me to moralize at you. Getting a lot of that these days, mate. I'm just trying to keep everyone happy. Tough gig. I'll say. Alright, now, if you can solder those two wires... No, not those ones. Funny hell. Who programmed you? Bet she's a jerk. Incredibly intelligent, but a very bad programmer. Ashley has learned how to program exactly the minimum amount she needs to, and not one iota more. You're talking about yourself, right? What? Always with throwing knives. Wow, you're really out of it, huh? Where'd you even pull this from? Leg holster. You aren't wearing a leg holster. Arm holster. Your prosthetic? It holds 6 million knives. Don't question me on this. I'm the expert here. Hey, need a hand? Dude, you should check yourself before you fucking wreck yourself. No, that's not what I meant. Oh. Yeah, I guess you can help. Before I ask what you need, what are you even doing? Maddie mentioned a summoning circle? Something like that. You ever wanted to live forever? I'd trade that for just having a second chance, honestly. Wow. Grab me that box, please. You can't just leave that hanging like that. Watch me. And while you watch me, while you watch me leave you hanging, you can go get the box. Thank you. Yeah, so, this is really heavy. What's even in here? 100 meters of heavy gauge copper cable. In a basement full of magical items, this copper wire might be the thing most in danger of being stolen. It's easier to flip at least. A bunch of capacitors I'm going to wire together soon, and some various bits and bolts. That would definitely explain the weight. Oh, there's also a bunch of clamps. So, what do you need? Validation! Chocolate. Coffee. A school system that doesn't punish me for having weird and niche interests. I meant more, communism. Aw, hell yes. Ash is a real party girl. Amazing. I love her. I don't think I can get you communism, sorry. And isn't Maddie already getting you chocolate? You're a terrible comrade, Keishan. If I wasn't close to hitting the LD50 of caffeine, I'd ask you for some coffee. So all you can do right now is give me that sweet validation. LD50, I haven't heard that in forever. I actually did some research once as a kid on, like, what the deadly limit, lethal dose of of caffeine was. For a science project. You know, the reasons that aren't at all suspicious. Okay. Your real thumbs up? Good human. I don't know what sort of validation you want here. feel like I'm stuck in a loop of trying things that are inevitably going to fail, and I don't know how much of it is my fault for not being good enough at a monumentally difficult task. I'm used to being effortlessly good at things, but I feel like my brain is full of bees on this one. And can I deal with failure? I don't think I can. I'm not equipped for failure. My entire perception of myself is that I'm good at things. I'm gifted and talented and incredibly afraid that I'm gonna let people down at a vital moment. This is that vital moment. But I just sit here, paralyzed. And I rationally know that a lot of this pressure is just me being hard on myself. But Maddie and I, we tried this already. And we failed pretty badly. It was a disaster.
For Ashley of all people to call something a disaster, it must have been a real catastrophe.
I can't understate how badly it turned out. So even with all the prep I'm doing, is this enough? Did we learn enough to do it properly? Numbers and formulas and hard science are good, but I can't shake this feeling that I'm gonna screw it up for everyone. And I'm so afraid of letting Maddie down.
There are few things we fear more than disappointing the people we love most.
Aww.
Ashley.
That's heavy as shit, mate.
You reckon?
Fully, yeah. I don't know what to say to that, except that I don't think Maddie would ever feel let down by you. I know I've only been here for like 2 days, but her and Shay seem to really care about you. And I'm sure that extends to accepting you for who you are, limitations and all. Though honestly, I think you give off a pretty strong vibe of not giving a shit about your limitations. Or that you indiscriminately power through them with some sort of raw, caffeine-fueled fury. Anyway, you're immensely powerful, and I'm terrified of you.
Fair enough.
I was never really super smart, or gifted, or anything. Sometimes the people who think they're not gifted were just never made aware of their gifts. Oof. Oh. Ouch. I just floated through school and work and never focused on much except having a good time. I can definitely imagine the sort of pressure you'd have on you, though, especially given how big this task is.
Yeah.
So, while I can't say for sure that this thing is going to be easy or even successful, in the terminal it can feel like nothing is easy. Even Sunday mornings come with their own set of trials and tribulations. I do think it's important that you work on giving yourself a break from the weight of your own expectations. But it's not an easy thing, I'm sure. But my boyfriend is similar. He's very hard on himself when he feels like he's letting himself down.
So, it doesn't go away?
I don't think so. I think it just gets easier to deal with as you learn to be more empathetic to yourself. Self-forgiveness and all that.
It's often hardest to forgive someone when you're aware of all their flaws. Oof. Ooh. Ouch.
It definitely took him a good few years to even begin to be able to deal with his self-imposed shame.
I guess I can try that?
And you can try that. Or you can continue feeling super bad about yourself all the time.
I mean, when you put it like that.
Right.
I hate how rational you sound.
I know. I'm disgusted at myself.
Sup, nerds? What's going on in this thread? Amazing.
What?
Oh, you're suddenly in a good mood. I maybe ate some of your chocolate. Maybe Maddie ate some chocolate. Maybe grass is green. I swear to God, if there isn't any left. Yes, we've been over this before. You'll comprehensively murderize me. Ashley's. You'd hate it if someone failed to be comprehensive when they went about murderizing you. I've seen some incomplete murderizing attempts, and they ain't pretty. Don't worry, I only ate a little bit. Excellent!
Is this enchanted chocolate or just normal chocolate? What about unenchanted dark chocolate? Where does that fall on the normal, abnormal chocolate spectrum? It's a good question.
Does he deserve to know? I don't know. I kinda like the mystery.
It's completely normal chocolate, isn't it?
Maybe. Maybe not.
Can I have some then? Come on, you owe me.
For what?
Helping you set up all this.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Aw, one little piece.
This is totally normal chocolate.
Yeah. Did you expect it to not be that?
Well, you implied.
We never implied. You came up with that one all on your own.
Damn it.
Alright, I'm bored. Later, dorks. Don't you run off on me, miss. This Magic Cap bank isn't even half done. I'll do it later. For now, I'm gonna go take a nap under that table. If anyone disturbs me... Come on. You'll be... happy?
Confused.
Ticklish.
Extra hungry.
I will...
Mention me in your diary?
Maddie doesn't keep a diary.
One of those thoughts and all those thoughts and memories just stay cooped up in her head.
One day she's going to run out of space. Or sanity. I will exact terrible revenge on both of you later.
Jeez, that phrase definitely didn't start with an M.
Bye!
Amazing. I'm not being too hard on her, am I?
You? Nah, she thinks you're great.
Good.
I could probably stand to give her a break, though.
There are few people who appreciate a break more than Ashley, especially when it's a break from Maddie.
I mean, I'm expecting a lot from her right now.
She does seem a little overloaded.
Fuck. But she'd tell me if things were too much, right?
I don't know. It seems like she idolizes you.
Idolatry's a sin, right? Can't be healthy behavior.
I reckon she'd pretty happily burn herself out for you, you know?
I just need her for the next 4 or 5 hours. Then everything will be okay.
Is that when you're planning on performing the ritual?
This thing? Yeah.
What's it for, anyway?
Conduit ritual. Super forbidden magic.
Oh, cool.
Are you actually cool with this, or...?
Not hugely, actually.
Why is that?
Well, you know, I was talking to Ned earlier and... Actually, don't worry about it. It's fine. I don't care. What's it do?
You know how I took a couple hours from you down there?
Vividly.
This is just a bigger scale version of that spell. A higher capacity.
Who are you taking hours from?
Nobody. Don't worry, bud. You're at a deficit already. When you get deep enough into the hole, you kind of stop worrying about climbing out of it and just accept your fate. I can't touch you.
Right. Okay. So, even if you're lying right now, shouldn't you have taken enough to pay off your debt multiple times at this point?
The hours weren't for that.
Or maybe it just felt like hours. It can be hard to judge time when you're wandering around aimlessly. What the hell did you do with them then? Where'd they go? For our research, we use the following materials: wire of copper, heavily drawn, jasmine chalk, not Dover, sustained electric supply of at least 20 volts, car battery ? Capacitors composed of something need better durability. However, we believe extra components are required. Our conduit's properties varied with the layout of our summoning circle, and despite the departure of our test subject during our trials, we were able to ascertain a number of efficiency-oriented refinements. Certain kinds of optimization require real dedication to craft, as well as the absolute necessity of a living but non-sentient vessel to act as a so-called storage container. Living but non-sentient. More testing is required, though obtaining a willing subject for future methodology evaluations without attracting the attention of the Council will be difficult, to say the least. I stored them. Where? All those hours are in this tree. Uh-huh. Interesting. I miss eating.
Why? What was your diet like?
I remember sushi.
Sushi? I thought you said you were a crab.
What, you think crabs aren't dexterous enough to make sushi?
Unquestionably, yes.
What is this sushi? It's delicious is what it is.
Rice and fish and seaweed. Humans eat it.
And crabs.
I just don't know where a crab would find rice, or a way to make good sushi.
I also ate garbage. Yes, I also ate garbage on occasion.
Unbelievable, you two. Unbelievable.
Garbage is good for the soul.
Garbage is garbage. It's in the name.
What did you eat when you were alive, then?
Grass. Just normal grass.
Boring.
And tree roots sometimes.
There are tree roots here, yes? Yeah, there are. How'd you chomp on them?
Well, I'm not hungry. We don't eat. And also, more importantly, they are powerfully magical. Maddie needs them. If we damage things that Maddie needs, then Ashley will be disappointed in us.
A suboptimal state of affairs. I can feel the power in them, too. However, I do not feel compelled to chomp on them. What a strange thought. Love to chomp. Chomp sushi. Chomp sandwiches. Chomp garbage.
You're so weird.
These three are amazing.
Make your creator proud. Can now speak to Samantha to experience the side story Devil's Den.
Ooh. Samantha seemed interesting. Terminal. Oh. I know where we are. We got a few things to check out. Alright, Ashley's inventions number 2. Ashley's original ideas: do not steal. Floor sweeper.
My last experiment with the kitchen assistant V1 was a big success if you measure success in how quickly it was able to pulverize things generally. The throwing objects at the ceiling technique does not work for pulverizing carrots or celery for salads, but is very good at pulverizing halogen lamp bulbs. This made me think about how much better it would be if the floor were self-cleaning. I mean, yeah? Ashlings can sweep up a bit, but usually all they do is move dust around, and it's hard to get them to actually collect debris and put it in the trash. If the entire floor were covered with air jets, any small bits of debris that dropped onto the floor would get quickly whisked away toward a corner, where a vacuum or something could suck them up into a disposal chute. Having a bunch of air jets would require a lot of power to run, but air isn't the only fluid that could be used to carry dirt and dust and broken shards of halogen lamp bulbs. Water could also probably do the trick. The issue is that water would damage the floor. Ripping up the wooden floorboards and pouring concrete would solve that problem, and we could mold the concrete in a way that its shape directed the water toward a drain in the floor. That would mean no more need to sweep. We could just hose down the entire cafe at the end of the day and it would drain itself. Then it would be dry by morning. That's actually a really good idea that doesn't require any special equipment or specialized hardware once the floor is installed. I should copyright that idea to make sure nobody steals it. Amazing. After several days of calling the Australian Copyright Council, I finally talked to a person who told me that what I want to cover inventions is a patent, not a copyright. After several more days of trying to contact the patent office, I was told that someone already used my idea. I wonder if it's possible to sue someone for stealing your idea before you came up with it. It's pretty unfair that I'm not able to patent an idea just because I'm too young to have had the idea before someone else claimed it. Knife retriever version 2. Previously, I discarded the idea of using a large electromagnet to retrieve the knife that was lodged in the ceiling. My research has led me to believe that the knife in the ceiling is actually stainless steel, which contains iron. Iron is ferromagnetic, which is weird because you'd think that only ferro would be ferromagnetic, but I guess iron is too. Also, I was able to find a gas-powered generator that could supply enough power to run an electromagnet for a short period of time, so I don't need to worry about the circuit breakers. It requires a lot of gas, but luckily getting the knife down only requires running the electromagnet for a short period of time. I created the electromagnet by spooling a power cable around a piece of iron. The good news is that the electromagnet is great at pulling knives from where they are. The bad news is that it pulled all the knives from the drawers that were within a meter of it when I turned it on. Also, the knife in the ceiling wasn't affected because it was too far away. I looked it up, and magnetic attraction follows an inverse cube law. I'm not sure what the opposite of a cube is. Maybe it's a sphere? But the more I think about it, the more it makes sense that objects further away aren't pulled as strongly by a magnet. The Beseecher 5000. After my lack of success with the Knife Retriever version 2, I asked Che for help, and he lifted me up so I was able to pull the knife from the ceiling. He asked how long it had been up there, and I said, not long, and he said, more than a day? And I said, oh, it wasn't up for a day, which is technically true. I'm glad that asking Che for help succeeded, but I think in the future there needs to be a way to automate this process of asking Che for help. I think I need to create a robot with speech capabilities that is capable of asking for favors. Then I could have the robot ask for favors on my behalf. I mean, yeah? I think this is a good idea, because usually when you ask someone for a favor, then you owe them a favor afterward. But if it were the robot asking for the favor, then the robot would owe the favor, not you. Then the person would ask the robot to do them a favor, and the robot would say, sorry, I'm only capable of talking to people, not doing tasks. Then if the person asked the robot to ask you for a favor, the robot would say, I'm sorry, my battery is running low, and then it would self-destruct. It would be very expensive to build a new robot every time you had to ask for another favor, but it would be better than having to owe someone a bunch of favors after they helped you. I mean, yeah, it makes sense to me. Ashley's so wonderful. Now I'm wondering where that knife was stuck in the ceiling. Anyhow. Something down under. Come on, I want to show you something. For a moment, Swan thought of grabbing Hannah by the hand to lead her, but he couldn't bring himself to do it. Something about the idea of holding her hand seemed simultaneously too childish and too intimate for him to try this early in the night. Oh, where are you taking me? said Hannah. Someplace cool, said Tuan. He located the ladder leading down from the lower level and gestured to it. After you. And now you're asking me to be the first one to jump into the gaping maw of whatever monsters might be lurking down there. Hannah shook her head ruefully. Where have all the gentlemen gone? Tuan smirked. I think a gentleman might say ladies first. And I think a lady might say I'll stand quietly behind while you deal with this street ruffian. Go ahead, barrel face first into danger. I'll follow behind. Well, said Tuan, technically I'm going feet first. You know, going down verticality and all that. My head is actually the last part of me that will be arriving on the lower level. Are we going to keep standing here bantering, or are you going to show me whatever's down there? Said Hannah. You seemed enthused by the idea only a few moments ago. I guess I just got distracted by your cattiness. Hannah got on the ladder on top of Tuan. Don't look up. Trust me, you won't get the show you're expecting if you do. Fine. Tuan descended the ladder, keeping his gaze decidedly horizontal. After arriving on the level below, he studied his feet until Hannah landed beside him. Hannah joined him in studying his feet. Oh, please don't tell me you're one of those freaks who's obsessed with his sneakers. Nah, said Tuan. Just the kind who finds the sight of his own shoelaces a safe distraction from whatever he's trying to avoid looking at. Oh, good, said Hannah. Did you ever hear about that brawl in Darwin? No, said Tuan. Well, it was actually Darwin, California. You know, these international news sites always trying to sucker me into reading stories about what's happening in America. Anyway, nobody was hospitalized, but several kids walked away from that store with black eyes to show to their friends. I can understand that collectibles are a big deal, but come on, we live in a society. I don't think I'll ever understand sneakerheads. Wait, that's actually a thing? Said Tuan. Yeah, said Hannah. You didn't know about it? It's really big with hip youngsters. I guess I don't pay very close attention to the behavior of hip youngsters. Well, that was evident from the moment I laid eyes on you, said Hannah. But you seem adventurous enough. Maybe one day you'll encounter one of them. On that note, what are we here to see? Tuan led Hannah into one of the portholes of the room they were in. Look at this. Wow, that is indeed a porthole. No, I mean, what's on the other side? Yep, said Hannah. That certainly is water on the other side of that porthole. Hold on, said Tuan. There's supposed to be a... He trailed off. A what? I don't want to spoil the surprise, said Tuan. Well, you have effectively replaced my awe and wonder of seeing the sea through a porthole in the basement of a Melbourne cafe with a feeling of disappointment that I'm not seeing whatever it is I'm supposed to be seeing. Tuan checked several of the other portholes. This is weird. It's usually... The sound of something landing behind them caused Tuan and Hannah to spin around and face the ladder they just climbed down. The girl with twin tails stood up from a crouching stance and dusted herself off. Did you just jump down? Said Tuan. Yep, said the girl. It's only 10 meters. And to think that we wasted our time climbing down that ladder like schmucks, said Hannah. So, Tuan stood, gawking at the girl for a few moments. Sorry, I don't remember your name. I'm Ashley, said the girl. I guess turnabout is fair play, because I don't remember your name either. It's Tuan. And I'm Hannah. You two know each other? Hannah said to Tuan as she pointed at Ashley. Yes, said Tuan. We know each other so well that we greet each other by asking each other what our names are. That's a great greeting ritual, said Hannah. We should try to popularize it. You know, normalize introducing yourself by name, even to people you met before. I bet it would save some people from a lot of awkwardness. Not everyone's good with names, you know. That is a great idea, said Ashley. I'm going to start doing that. Hannah shot a glance at Tuan, and he grinned. So, what are you doing down here? Said Hannah. Here to kick us out? Is this a no-patron zone? No, it's no problem, said the girl. But I was eavesdropping. Tuan's eyes widened, but he looked at Hannah, but Hannah seemed to be more amused than upset at Ashley's appearance. And, said Ashley, it sounded like you weren't seeing what you wanted to be seeing, so I thought I'd come down and take you lower. Oh, where am I being taken now? Said Hannah. About 1,000 fathoms is where things start to get interesting, said Ashley. How much is 1,000 fathoms? Said Hannah. Ashley paused. It's about 1,800 meters, said Tuan. Sounds like a lot of climbing, said Hannah. Guess I should have brought better ladder climbing shoes. That sounds like the lament of a non-sneakerhead, said Tuan. Oh, no need to climb, said Ashley. Just hang on a sec. Ashley walked up to a panel with several mechanical levers, and after several moments, the water outside the porthole began changing hue. What was that? Said Hannah. Swordfish, said Ashley.
Actually, I'm pretty sure it was a sailfish, said Tuan. Oh, I'm pretty sure you made that up, said Hannah. No, really, said Tuan. They're marlin, and they have a long bill like a swordfish, but they also have a broad, erect dorsal fin. If you had left the word erect out of that sentence, I might have believed you, said Hannah. No, he's probably right, said Ashley. I've seen him down here with marine biology books. He's a huge nerd, so I definitely trust his word over mine. Well, I'm glad that's settled, said Hannah. The part about you being a nerd, I mean. I think the sailfish with an erect dorsal fin still sounds kind of sketchy to me. Eventually, the room stopped descending, and Hannah looked outside the porthole. Now I see what you're excited about. There's a lot of stuff going on down here. Hey, nerd boy, what's this one called? Tuan tried to follow Hannah's pointing finger. Which one are you pointing at? That shark-looking thing. It looks like it's as big as a whale. Oh, said Tuan, that's a whale shark. See, said Hannah, I knew you were just making up names. No, that one's right, said Ashley. That's one of the few ones I know, because it's so easy to remember. It's a cross between a whale and a shark. Whale shark. So, said Hannah, this is the level of the ocean where interspecies romance happens. There isn't actually any whale DNA in a whale shark, said Tuan. It just has that name because of its size. It's the largest known species of fish. Hannah shook her head. First it's a whale shark, then it's just a shark, and now it's a fish. Tuan, the thing you need to know about making stuff up is that you need to stick to one version of the story. Sharks are fish, said Tuan. You didn't know that? They have gills. I'm kind of surprised you didn't know. I don't think you're the one who should be surprised by any of this, said Hannah. Everything that you've shown me down here is thoroughly weird. Me not knowing that sharks are fish? That seems very normal to me. Hey, Ashley, did you know that sharks are fish? Nope, said Ashley. This is my first time hearing it, too. Must be another made-up Tuan fact about marine biology, said Hannah. Tuan shrugged his shoulders. I guess so. Truth is that I'm just really creative and good at making up so-called facts. The part about me being a nerd who spends all his time studying marine biology must be a lie. No, I still believe that part, said Hannah. Me too, said Ashley. The trio stood for a few moments, wavering between looking out the porthole and looking at each other. The awkwardness hit just a few seconds before Ashley spoke up. Anyway, I figured this is where you wanted to hang out, so here you go. 2,000 fathoms. Give me a holler if you want to go deeper. Ashley walked to the ladder and disappeared through the hole in the ceiling. Huh. Well, that was... Alright. A letter from Sophie Cordova. My dear Maddie, thank you for getting in touch with me. Or perhaps I should say, congratulations. I make such a point of making myself hard to find that it's always a surprise to hear from anyone. I sometimes find myself fearing the day when I'll be contacted by someone who isn't a fan of mine, and who is more interested in locking me away than seeking my advice. One might think that people interested in putting me away would be more capable and in possession of more resources than those like yourself who simply possess curiosity, and yet it's always the latter who manage to break through the veil I've erected between myself and the outside world. You're the first in over 3 years to manage this, and so it is now time for me to find another hiding place. If your next letter manages to find me, I'll truly have something to worry about. If you're looking for a solution to the problem you outlined in your letter, I'm afraid I must disappoint you. My business is that of teaching people how to ask the right questions so that they can find the answers themselves, not giving the answers. After all, the most worthwhile answers are the ones I haven't found yet. That being said, your question about time transference is an issue of special interest to me. The idea of storing vitality within a living, non-sentient creature such as a plant is one that I've long considered. The issue has always been one of retrieval. If you did find a way to transfer vitality from a plant into a sentient creature, it would result in a tremendous discharge of energy. Such a great discharge that I'm sure it would kill whatever subject was on the receiving end. Absorbing life force from something doesn't seem that it would do you much good if it kills you in the process. Consequently, I've never experimented with this process myself. Even if I have earned a reputation for being a rule breaker, there are certain things that are simply off limits. Your idea of using a non-living soul as a target for transference is an interesting one. No risk of killing the vitality recipient if it's already dead. Of course, that would require finding a way to infuse a non-living soul with vitality in the first place.
And being that most reanimation techniques involve a significant discharge of energy, using the vitality transfer as the trigger would effectively be killing two birds with one stone. Of course, reanimation is a far cry from necromancy, but if your only problem is one of living on borrowed time, well, you know better than I do how to resolve the particulars. I'm an alchemist, not a necromancer. If I can offer you one piece of advice, these kind of vitality transfers are not something to be experimented with. Any time that time is borrowed or lent, you are making an alteration to a ledger that the powers that be keep a very careful eye on. Even the smallest of disturbances is enough to attract their notice, and attracting their notice will put a quick end to any research you might be in the midst of. So, if you are going to try a vitality transference, don't experiment. Go straight for the end goal. If you're going to catch the attention of those whose attention you do not want, make sure that the endeavor is worthwhile. If you have a good reputation, it would be a shame to squander it on something so trivial as allowing a mouse a few extra seconds on this side of mortality. As they say, go big or go home. I appreciate your taking the time to write to me. You've given me new things to pontificate on, and perhaps one day you may see the results of that pontification in one of my future volumes. Of course, it should go without saying that you won't be able to reach me again, at least not the same way you did before. I've been found, and that means I need to do a better job of covering my tracks. While I rationally hope that I'll never find myself in a position where a fan's letter finds me, there's always a part of me that hopes that one of my readers will manage to track me down. Who knows, perhaps the next letter I receive at my next residence will come from you. But I'm sure that you have better things to do with your time than try to track me down. There's a time to adopt the posture of a student and focus on learning, but it's obvious to me that you are someone who has spent plenty of time learning things, and is now ready to do things. So do things, Maddie. Do big things. Do dangerous things. Do things that break the rules. Not all rules need to be broken, but if you're smart enough to find me, you're smart enough to know which rules are worth breaking. I'm grateful that it's always the reader mail that seems to find me, never the demands to appear before some kind of tribunal or committee. I used to think that this was a long string of extremely good luck on my part. But over time, I've come to realize that those who wish me gone lack the insight of the people who earnestly read my work, readers such as yourself, who are the only ones who truly know me well enough to understand how I think, and where I would hide. Bravo, Maddie. You've demonstrated your ability to think like me. Now you must learn to think like yourself. Yours truly, Sophie Cordova. I think that was who wrote the book on alchemy that we read early on in the game. Ah, here we are. Game room. Huh. Alright, so at some point we'll want to chat with these two since they've got a side story for us. And was this the one? Yeah, Thinking About Alchemy the Wrong Way. Yeah, by Sophie Cordova. But for now, I think that's enough for today's episode. So, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Be sure to come back next time, and we'll probably jump into that other side story, which I'm guessing might take up a whole episode, but we'll see. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, all the other usual YouTube garbage, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody!